Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffs get it done at home, scraping and clawing, pretty much fighting from behind the entire game against the Baylor Bears, and they find a way to get it done in overtime. Guys, Coach Prime, people are going to say what they want. People are going to have their own opinions about the man, but out of his 11 games he's played at home, I think it is, for Colorado, 9 of them have been within one possession. You know, this is only his second year taking over a team that before he got there didn't even have a win, guys. I mean, the lack of talent that was on that roster before he took over, it wasn't almost even FBS level, right? Compared to what he's done now, still with the deficiencies that they have at certain key positions, you know, obviously O-line and D-line, you know, it's no secret, but the ability to stay in these games and continue to fight and compete against the odds whenever, you know, on paper, really, guys, they shouldn't be able to move the ball at all. They should not be able to score points at all. And that's not a knock on any of the skill players for Colorado. It's not a knock on Shedeur. This O-line is horrible, guys. Both sides of the line of scrimmage, in the trenches. Their D-line too. In the second half, and especially in the fourth quarter, towards the end of the game, that D-line was getting pushed around. Nonetheless, guys, they find a way to get it done. You know, I'm thinking about Coach Prime, and obviously the slack that he was dealing with earlier in the season, you know, kind of talking about his O-line and how they weren't protecting Shedeur, and then obviously, you know, what Shedeur got into it with the media before he brought his O-line out in the press conference, and, you know, kind of hushed a lot of that. But it must be really hard if you're Coach Prime. You know, your son is the quarterback. You know, right now he's my quarterback one. I'll get into his play specifically in a minute, but it must be hard being a coach, you know, Coach Prime, and my son, you know, is a potential, you know, #1 draft pick, and at the same time I'm also his coach. You know, as a coach, the O-line needs to be protecting the dabblam quarterback. As a father, this O-line is fucking up my kid's chances, you know, to really like put something on tape and really have a great year. This O-line is prohibiting Shedeur from doing a lot more, guys. And Shedeur is still getting it done. In my opinion, right now, he's quarterback #1. Coach Prime, as, you know, being the quarterback's father and also being the head coach of the football team, I know it's got to be tough, guys. But, you know, he's running for his life out there, and these guys can't protect him for nothing. I mean, guys, Colorado's center, being pass protecting as a center, it's a lot. It's, you know, I'm not going to say it's easy, but out of all the positions on the O-line, it's the easiest. Colorado's center is trash. He is trash. Colorado's O-line as an entirety is trash. They cannot run the ball for nothing. If they didn't have Shedeur Sanders at quarterback, bro, they're not putting up 38 points in a game. There is no reason this offense should be moving at all because of how bad the O-line is. If you got a bad O-line and you can't run, you know, you're forced to throw. The defense knows you're throwing. Now you got to deal with their pass rushers, right? This is real. This is what's going on. The only difference is Shedeur is athletic enough and quick enough to extend the play. How he can continue to stay in the pocket with the pressure and still throw a ball, getting hit as he's throwing a deep ball, guys. His timing through the pressure he's getting. The pressure and the lack of an O-line has really helped Shedeur, you know, develop skills like that, you know. With that being said, I mean, guys, the O-line just can't protect him for nothing, man. I mean, you know, he's having to pretty much do it all on his own. And speaking about their defense, guys, I was very disappointed in the D-line. You know, obviously they had Warren Sapp come over and, you know, start coaching them boys up. The interior D-line in the third and fourth quarter, it looked at points, they just quit. I mean, I'm watching Baylor run inside zone, and, you know, the interior D linemen are getting double teamed 5-6 yards behind the line or past the line of scrimmage, right? You know, back up by the linebackers. And that's another thing. The linebackers, if you're going from watching an SEC game and then you turn on Colorado on commercial break, the size difference in these linebackers is ridiculous, guys. The Colorado front seven is tiny, right? Now, with that being said, it's an effort problem with a lot of those D linemen in the fourth quarter, especially. It was bad, but both lines on both sides of the ball, offense and defense, holding Colorado back like I can't even believe. I am really impressed with how Shedeur is literally putting this offense on his back, constantly turning nothing into something because he's running for his life. These linemen for Colorado in pass protection, guys, I mean, they're so tunnel visioned. They're so tunnel visioned on the guy that they think that they're supposed to have. Oh my gosh. It's insane. If you run a simple stunt, if you run a simple, loop around stunt, guys, it's going to be effective against Colorado. Colorado's center, and center, for those who don't know, it's the easiest position to pass protect as compared to tackle and guard, right? Guys, this center for Colorado, he's completely oblivious. Both the tackles for Colorado, Shedeur's getting multiple times. Shedeur's dropping back on a 3-step. Before he even finishes the 3-step, he's got pressure coming off from both edges. Guys, this is crazy. It's crazy. And like I said, Shedeur is still finding ways, to put the ball on a laser, 40, 50, 60 yards down the field with the pressure on. I mean, guys, Shedeur is under more pressure, I think, than any other quarterback, regardless of what the expectations are for the Colorado Buffs as a team. Everybody knows, the stuff going on with Coach Prime and Shedeur. Now, do I agree with everything that Coach Prime says? Obviously not. Do I agree with how Shedeur acts all the time? Obviously not. But that goes for anybody. I don't agree with everything that anybody does, right? And with that being said, I'm still a real fan of Coach Prime. Now Shedeur, I haven't liked his attitude as much recently, and how he's handled the press and the media. I get that they're against you, man. And you have to know that they're against you, bro. You can't act. That's how they're expecting you to answer like this, man. They're asking you these questions so that you give them that answer, so that, they're just throwing fuel on the fire, man. And I know Shedeur knows that, but you have to answer those questions accordingly. And with all that being said, I just said he was my quarterback one. This guy is an absolute monster. I want to see what he could do with a solid O-line, because he's doing all this with no protection at all. And like I said, he's not letting the pressure speed up his internal clock. He's still making the reads, putting the ball where it needs to be on time, making the plays with his legs. But, he's still a pocket passer. He doesn't rely on his legs too much, keeps his eyes down the field. For multiple reasons, guys, I'm really, really liking Shedeur Sanders right now. But as a whole, guys, in conclusion for this game, Colorado Buffs did a great job of fighting. I really loved their fight that they had in this game throughout the entirety. I feel like that's led, by Shedeur and Travis Hunter's attitude, right? The top 5% of your team, the rest of your team is going to gravitate towards those guys, and how and their the culture and the precedent that they set. And Travis Hunter and Shedeur, guys, they're grinders, right? They're going to compete. And that's what we saw from this Colorado team. Nonetheless, it's no secret they're front seven on defense. Their O-line offensively, absolute shite. But let me know what you guys think. What do y'all think about this Colorado team? What do y'all think about Shedeur? What do y'all think about Travis Hunter playing all these snaps, man? And how do you think the Colorado Buffs season is going to look going forward? Let me know in the comments below. Appreciate y'all for watching. I'll see you in the next one.